this idea, and I get the idea of generational wealth.
Right.
But wealth is in the people. Right?
Yeah.
Wealth is in the people, and how the people value one another, and how that value is passed on from one generation to the next generation. That's true generational wealth.
Yes.
And we can build anything from there.
What's up, everybody? It is the serial motivator himself, Wayne McKnight Jr., and you have just tuned in to another episode of BlockBuilding, where we talk about anything that can be built or improved upon. Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is so necessary. So I'm gonna put this out there first. If you are an educator, if you are a pastor, if you are a mentor, if you are a parent, if you are remotely responsible in raising a child, this episode right here is going to be for you. And my guest today is going to help me break this thing all the way down. Today we are going to talk about building culturally responsible men. That's right, building culturally responsible men. And my guest today, he is a mentor, he is a creative, he is an entrepreneur, he is a thought leader, he is a pillar in the Black community, always keeping the progress and the development of the Black community front of mind. Without further ado, I bring to you all Adrian Sundiata. What's going on, King? You good?
I'm excellent, thank you.
Listen, I appreciate your time. Look, we went back and forth this morning about what topics we wanted to talk about, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were so well versed that we could have went in so many directions. Man, but we landed on building culturally responsible men.
Yeah.
And when I saw that text message, immediately, you know, yesterday we were talking about the gut and instincts and all that stuff. Lit up. And I said, yes, that's what we need to discuss today.
All right.
So let's jump right into it.
All right.
Let's lay the foundation of this first. What is a culturally responsible man?
All right. So that's the best way to approach that is dealing with each word.
Okay, let's do that.
Right. So I'll give you my working definition and framework.
Okay.
For culture.
Okay.
Right. So what culture does for a people at its base level, it identifies the needs of a people.
Okay.
And culture is designed to meet those needs.
Got you. Okay.
It identifies the problems of a people and is designed to solve those problems of the people. By
Okay.
doing those two things, it allows the people to not only survive, it allows the people to thrive, grow.
Got you.
Better.
Okay.
So culture is like cultivate, like when we talk about plants.
Yeah.
If it doesn't allow you to grow, then it's not your culture.
Got you.
Someone else may be growing from the environment that you live in.
Right.
But if you're not, as a people, not growing in the environment, then you're not being properly cultivated.
Wow.
So you're not operating from the right cultural framework.
Wow. So within culture is really the fertilizer
Absolutely.
to the individual. And if you are not growing within that fertilizer, then you are submerged in the wrong culture.
Absolutely.
That's powerful.
Right.
Okay.
And so then we go with responsible.
Right.
I simply like to play with the word responsible. It's the ability to respond, responsibility.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
So what culture is this man responsible for?
Got you.
How is he able to respond?
Right.
What is his ability to respond to his cultural needs?
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
That's what he's responsible for. Being
Got
able
you.
to
Okay.
respond
Okay.
appropriately to his cultural group's needs and solve their problems so they may grow and they may thrive.
So the man's responsibility in this culture is to be the solution.
It's to find the solution.
To find that
To
solution.
help find the solution. I won't say it's his sole, it is the responsibility of the entire culture group. He plays a role in that. And what we're asking men to do is to, one, identify what your culture is. To understand your culture and your culture's needs.
Right.
And then to identify your roles and responsibility to that culture group. So then we go to the last word, culturally responsible manhood.
Yes.
Or men.
Yes.
So, interesting conversation I had with an elder one time. Threw me off bad.
Okay.
He said,
which doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. Threw me off bad. That's why you had to have good elders. Not just olders.
Right.
The brother said, we have this paternal relationship with white men.
Okay.
And I said, what do you mean? Like parents? He said, yeah, the white man is your father. I said, whoa, slow down.
Right.
Slow down. I respect you, elder. Slow down. He said, no, let's think about this. He said, we look at fatherhood from a base nature, manhood from a base nature.
Right.
That men have been historically asked to provide and protect.
Right. Right.
What does he provide? We look at it from a very base nature. He provides food, clothing, shelter.
Right.
I say he's the only one providing that, but it's part of his historical role.
Right.
Food, clothing, shelter. Well, he says, who provides that for you? Who grows the food that you eat from these grocery stores?
Right.
Who provides you a 30-year mortgage on a home that you say is yours, but it's not yours.
Right.
Until you, and even after that,
right,
he's going to tax you on it.
Yep.
He's going to always get a cut.
Yep. Yeah.
So clothing, we go to these stores, we go to the malls, we go to these places, we go to these name brands, we go to these things that have no cultural identification with who we are for the things that we put on our backs. And he said, and you feel safe in America. You don't feel safe in America because of your own ability to protect you and your family.
Yeah.
You feel safe in America because you've been told that America has the greatest military armed force on the planet Earth, and nobody coming over here doing nothing to Americans.
Right.
He said, so really, if you look at who your father is, who's the man taking care of you?
Based off that definition of manhood, right?
Based off that definition of manhood. And I said to myself, I don't want to be in that relationship. I want to have a relationship with my culture group.
Yeah.
Where they can depend on me to play my role in providing food, clothing, shelter. And protection.
Yes. Yes. So now we are inching towards sovereignty.
Yeah.
To a degree, right?
Yeah.
Breaking the dependency of others and being able to rely on the community, which creates the culture.
Interdependence.
Yes. So how do we? Wow. So I have a 7-year-old son. Walk me through ways to do that. So for me, as I look at what a culturally responsible man is, I think about my situation. Now, I don't know I can figure it out, but I don't grow my own food. Again, we have a mortgage, which is the shelter, and we buy the clothes from department stores or stores in general. How do we start correcting this course of dependency?
Yeah. One, identifying what you just said, that I have one. Right. This is that acceptance. Like, okay. And then, now what do I do? Now that I've identified that this is true.
Right. And
I don't like it. Right. Because it has to start there.
Right.
That you're not okay with the relationship.
Right. Right.
And so now where do I start at scale? So, can I grow a tomato in a pot?
Right.
Yes. you can.
Right.
Start there.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I won't have to go to the grocery store this season for tomatoes.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
So I've taken back ownership of tomatoes in my life. Right?
It's a start.
It's a start. Then identifying black farmers in your community, whether they're urban farmers or they're larger farmers within your reach.
Got you. Okay.
And being very intentional, even if it's inconveniencing, right, to go and support them.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And you will find that most of them can supply you with most of your needs. You'll find that to be true. If they're in the farmer markets, they're selling from the actual farms, they are available. There's one brother here, name will come to me, elder brother, but he has a food co-op where for $600 a year, I believe the price is still the same. Okay. He will every 2 weeks supply you with vegetation.
Really? Yeah. Let's get that name. Right. We'll put that up on the.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just in that way, right? That's a start.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to be the farmer. Support the farmer.
Yeah.
That looks like you.
Yeah.
And it has not just looks like you, but has the best interests of your culture group in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's stop right there for a second. Guys, listen. So step one, learning how to grow a tomato in a pot, right? So we can apply that idea to almost anything. Whatever it is that you're trying to build, whatever it is you feel like your life purpose work is supposed to be, you don't need the highest end of things or the fancier things. Start with what you have. You all have heard me say this time and time again. Just start. And guys, you are looking at a person who was a chronic procrastinator. You are looking at a person that used to hide in the idea of preparation and resisting at a high level to start executing because of the fear, the doubt, the insecurities. So listen, just start with what you have. Don't continue to delay this process. Just start. And as you continue the process, things will reveal themselves. So as you're growing that tomato, you can start building other resources with people who look like you that have mastered the craft of growing food. And then they can further educate you. And as you go along this journey, as you go along this path, you will see that things will start to open up for you. But they won't open up until you start. So this is on you guys. Just start.
Yes. Okay. So I will also add that there's a sister here named Ebony who's launching her company, Plum Garden.
Okay.
So she will be selling seedlings this year.
Okay.
To the community. So that those who may struggle to grow that plant from a seed can start with it from a seedling plant, and she'll have all your needs. And then the next step is my grandfather, who, by all intents and purposes, would be considered functionally illiterate.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Very limited education growing up.
Okay.
But in 1955, decided that he was going to put my grandmother in a better living condition than the 2-room home that they were in. I didn't say 2-bedroom. I said 2
rooms. Got you.
All right.
Got you.
With a pot-belly heater, for those from the South who understand what a pot-belly heater is. And started building just on Saturdays with the skills that he had learned from other men around him. And it took him 4 years. 4 years to build this beautiful ranch-style 3-bedroom home with all the amenities that we could ever need. 4 years just working on Saturdays by himself, no other contractors, but got it done for his family.
Yeah.
So even considering those things, how do I maybe go purchase some land? I'm certain you'll figure out how to. And he never owed anyone for his home. Just think about that.
Yeah.
It was free.
Right. Yes.
In a sense, right? He didn't have a mortgage, is
Right.
what I mean.
Right.
He had taxes, but he was free and clear.
Right.
And just think, it wouldn't take us 30 years.
Wow.
To pull that feat off.
Right.
It takes us 30 years, and most of us won't even hit the principal until 15 to 20 years.
Yep.
That's right.
That's just how the math works.
We could honestly have rented and built a house in that period of time.
So one important nugget just from that with your grandfather building with the education love that he had is that anything you need to get that thing moving and going, you already have internally. It's just a matter of whether you choose to execute on that or not.
Absolutely. But even if you don't, you have resources within your community. Brothers and sisters who know how to build, who have backgrounds in construction and building, maybe within your own family, maybe within your own friend group. I remember a brother some years back, maybe 6 years back, out of Durham, North Carolina, posted this video, and brother was in tears. It kind of went viral. His neighbors, who were, he described as Mexican, bought this house, this small house that was run down.
Right.
And they bought it cash. It was run down.
Okay.
And in one weekend, this whole group of Spanish people got beer, speakers, music, slept there, renovated the whole house over the weekend.
Wow.
Over the weekend. And so when we talk about being culturally responsible, that's one of those examples where a culture group says, we here. We're not the majority.
Right.
We have to look out for ourselves, make sure we're okay. We'll choose to live together in large numbers, and then when one breaks out, we'll go help them do whatever they need to do. We'll work together in crews to make sure we are right. Even if we didn't get along with each other in the place that we came from, once here,
really,
we have to be culturally responsible to one another, and we see that pervasively throughout all groups. So we don't have to have all of the skill sets and the talents personally,
right?
But we do need to have those things within our culture group and to work together collectively, and not necessarily saying free, but at times some barter, some trade could be there.
Yeah.
But pay a fair rate, but make sure we're always okay. So that can be done. We can definitely provide our own shelter.
Wow.
And come up with creative ways to even finance and coming up with building that shelter.
So the more and more I hear you talk about this, I'm starting to realize how step one is just the awareness that there is a culture, there is a community that needs what you have.
Yes.
Right? So but if you are unaware of that, how do you know where to go or what to do? How do you even know, we talked about value add last night, how do you even know that you have a value add that is outside of the realm of what society tells you is value?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I would say stop. Booker T. Washington gave us a beautiful gem that I don't think most people caught in one of his speeches. He said, drop your buckets or put down your buckets where you are. Stop. We run off, we're looking for value and things up in other places. That whole idea of the grass being greener.
Yeah,
right. But right in our own communities, right in our own families, right in our own neighborhoods, because we don't really operate in communities, let's just be honest.
Right.
We have neighborhoods, we have hoods, we have places where there are high concentrations of people who look like us living amongst each other.
Right.
Community is a whole nother animal when we start talking about what community is and what it looks like and how it functions.
Right.
And so, but we have that right there. Start there. Start in your own life.
Yeah.
Gain back. So when we talk about sovereignty, become a monarch in your own life. Become a sovereign in your own life.
Yeah.
Gain back control over your own life. right?
Yeah.
And that's not always. I think we a lot of times, and I'm not against this. I think we put a lot of emphasis on being able to gain back that control solely through economic gain.
Right. Right.
Where I know people who don't have a lot of money,
Right.
but they control the resources that they do have in a way that gives them the freedom to do a lot of things that I know that I see people who are chasing a bag, not able to do. I have a young lady who I grew up with, and I watch her, and she's so creative.
Yeah.
So she's a freelance photographer.
Okay.
Right? So she makes her kind of schedule on that.
Yeah.
She has photography session. She can cook.
Okay.
So she hosts these cooking parties.
Yeah.
And do those things, and people pay to come in and have these soirees.
Right.
And then she hosts a monthly. She used to before the COVID. She would host, and it may still be going on. I'm just not aware, but
right.
She would host these monthly gatherings out of this venue, and have cultural music, Afro beats, and all those things playing.
Yeah.
And she makes money that way. And she also works, 10 hours I think a week at the airport.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But she's not stressed out in any way towards one thing, chasing this idea, but I go on her Instagram page, so it was interesting before I knew she worked at the airport.
Yeah.
I'll go on her Instagram page and be like, how is she pulling this off?
Right.
How is she in Bali?
Yeah. Right.
She traveled the world and she homeschooled her children would travel, homeschool, on the move. But so she wasn't with this focus of chasing the bag. She was utilizing the skill sets that she had very naturally, innately to her.
Yeah.
And then she was monetizing them. And she monetized multiple, we talk about these multiple streams, right?
Yeah.
She monetized multiple areas and then got let me give somebody else 10 hours of my time, but they allow me to fly for free and take my family.
Wow. Yeah.
We still we working 40, 50 hours a week, trying to wait on vacation time.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And then still trying to figure that out.
Right.
And then with our hustles and all that. And so sometimes you have to look at other models.
Yes.
Of what it looks like to gain back control of your life.
Yeah.
And not be so dogged about this this idea, and I get the idea of generational wealth.
Right.
But wealth is in the people. Right?
Yeah.
Wealth is in the people, and how the people value one another, and how that value is passed on from one generation to the next generation. That's true generational wealth.
Yes.
And we can build anything from there. We can build towns and cities and states and nations. But until the people are able to see true value in one another and their culture group, and commit to being responsible for each other, with a shared vision, then we'll always be trying to figure out how to gain it individually. And it's so much harder.
It's so much how to do it by yourself. There was a story that came out, I don't know, maybe a year ago or something like that, and these families, I think it was like 9 families down in Georgia somewhere, they pulled their money together and they bought this acres of land.
9 acres, yeah.
Yeah. And
19 families.
19 families, I'm sorry.
No problem.
And they bought this land and they are literally doing what we're talking about right now.
Absolutely.